On the campaign trail today, Committed to America, the super PAC that is supporting the former Vice President Mike Pence's candidacy, released its first ad. Donald Trump and the January 6 attacks on the Capitol front and center. Here it is.
An anxious nation watching for one man to do what's right. A weak man appeases a mob. A man of courage and character stands up to them. That day, one man failed the test of leadership, while another stood tall.
Julia, it seems like Mike Pence is making this kind of the centerpiece of his campaign, what happened on January 6th. What do you make of it?
Yeah, look, I don't know if it does a lot to galvanize the conservative group of GOP primary voters he needs to galvanize, because I don't think those group of primary voters, I don't think they really care about this right now. I think they care about the situation at the southern border, inflation, crime, those kinds of issues we hear the other Republicans talking about. I think Mike Pence is using this as a way to sort of set himself apart from the field, because there are questions about how someone like Ron DeSantis or Mike Pence, who served as Donald Trump's president or vice president, is different in terms of policy. And I think that's what he's trying to do here. I don't know how far that goes.
We see all the list of primary candidates up there on the screen. It seems like the field is set, at least for the moment. If I've learned anything over the last 2 days, while being here up on this desk, it is that Mick Mulvaney is bullish on the prospects of Chris Christie. Can you tell us why?
Why? No.
Even Scott wants to know.
Because I watched that ad. By the way, it's the first time I've seen that ad. Okay, it's important that that's not Mike Pence's campaign. That's a super PAC, which means that he can't really participate. It has to be the distance. But Mike Pence can't deliver that message. Okay, it's just not in his DNA. He's too nice. Okay, Tim Scott can't deliver that message. Nikki Haley's trying. Ron DeSantis is trying. Chris Christie can deliver that message. Chris Christie, in his DNA, wants to fight with Donald Trump, and he wants to get out there and take Trump down a couple of notches. I think that ad was more about reestablishing Mike Pence's credibility that Donald Trump took away from him and his reputation.
Are the people who are willing to listen to negative messages about Donald Trump willing to listen to Chris Christie say them, right? Like, he's not the guy that they turn to. If somebody who I care about, you know, who I listen to all the time, if Rush Limbaugh came back from the grave and said, don't vote for Donald Trump, like, maybe, but is Chris Christie the guy?
True point. I don't think he's got to get all of the Trump supporters. If we assume, for sake of this discussion, that Trump is going to get between 35 and 40%, you only got to peel off 10 or 12 before the race starts to get real interesting. By the way, I don't know if Chris Christie gets those voters. I just think he can peel them away from Trump, and they might go someplace else. But Trump has never been attacked like this by somebody as capable of attacking him as Chris Christie is.
But the MAGA voters won't care about Chris Christie. And for anyone to listen to Chris Christie, he certainly has to be a viable candidate in that primary versus just being the attack dog, because he's got hypocrisy issues like the rest of them. Up to January 6th, he supported and was radio silent on all of Donald Trump's statements, comments, policies, and what have you. And I'll be honest with you, there are not enough Republican and independent votes to support Donald Trump or anyone that supported Donald Trump in this 2024 election. They're just not. So something's got to give.
Trump got to be who he was by being the straight-talking, no BS kind of iconoclastic politician. Chris Christie was that before Donald Trump. I think he's counting on being able to speak to those MAGA voters in a way that Jeb Bush never could.
But he's attacking their leader, if you will. They're never going to accept him, are they?
Someone's your leader until he's not. We can talk about what's happening in the House right now.
Yeah. We'll get to that too, trust me.
Indictments will change that too.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.